Good morning, everybody. Sorry about the delay. We had some technical problems, but we are now on our way. I am Wendy Pepler, Chief Education Specialist of Languages. Welcome, everybody. Grade 11. We are going to do a bit of literature again today. But before we begin this webinar, let's cover some of the basics. If you are struggling to hear me, make sure your audio is on and your speaker volume is turned up. You will automatically be muted when joining the session. Should you have any questions, you can ask your questions in the question box below or on your right, or raise your hand. To raise your hand, click the icon on your dashboard below or on your right. After this presentation, you can download it, and no, there won't be any additional resources in the handout box below or on your right. You will also find all this information in the question box below or on your right. Remember to send us your questions. I will attend to the questions after the session you will receive an email as in the past. Attendees are encouraged to ask questions and leave comments. However, irrelevant or inappropriate comments will result in the attendee being dismissed from the session. If you do not get your question, please send an email to academics@impact.co.za. Questions in the question box will be answered and made available afterwards. If you did not receive the questions and answers, please send an email to info@impact.co.za. Visit the Impact YouTube channel for recordings of this session. Today we are going to discuss Othello by William Shakespeare, the characters and the main themes. To start off with, Othello. Othello is the protagonist or the main character and hero of the play. He's a Christian Moor and general of the armies of Venice. He is an eloquent and physical, powerful figure, respected by all around him. Despite his status, he is easy prey to insecurities because of his age, his life as a soldier, and his race. He possesses a free and open nature, which Iago uses to twist his love for his wife Desdemona into a powerful and destructive jealousy. Then we get Desdemona. Desdemona is daughter of the Venetian senator Brabantio. Desdemona and Othello are secretly married before the play begins. Although Desdemona is pure and meek, she is also determined and self-possessed. She is capable of defending her marriage, jesting humorously with Iago. She responds with dignity to Othello's incomprehensible jealousy. Iago. Iago is Othello's ensign, also known as an ancient or standard bearer. In my copy of the play, next to his name as character, it says he is an ancient. Iago is the villain of the play. Iago is 28 years old. Iago is unhappy because he has been passed over for promotion to lieutenant. Iago's motivations are never clearly expressed. They seem to originate in an obsessive aesthetic delight in manipulation and destruction. Then we get Cassio. Cassio is Othello's lieutenant. He is a young, inexperienced soldier whose high position is resented by Iago. Last week when we spoke about writing a literary essay, we spoke about jealousy, and this was the jealousy of Iago towards Cassio. Cassio is truly devoted to Othello. Cassio is extremely ashamed after being implicated in a drunken brawl on Cyprus and losing his position as lieutenant. Iago uses Cassio's youth, good looks, and friendship with Desdemona to play on Othello's insecurities about Desdemona's faithfulness. Emilia. Emilia is Iago's wife. She is also Desdemona's attendant or assistant. Emilia is a cynical, worldly woman who is deeply attached to her mistress. She is distrustful of her husband. Roderigo. He is a Venetian gentleman. Roderigo is jealous of Desdemona. He thought he would be able to marry her. He is young, rich, and foolish. Roderigo is convinced if he gives Iago all of his money, Iago will help him win Desdemona's hand. He is frustrated when Othello marries Desdemona and takes her to Cyprus. He is desperate enough to agree to help Iago kill Cassio after Iago convinces him that Cassio is another potential rival for Desdemona. Bianca. Bianca is a courtesan or prostitute in Cyprus. Bianca's favorite customer is Cassio. Cassio teases her with promises of marriage. Brabantio. Brabantio is Desdemona's father, senator of Venice. As friend of Othello, he feels betrayed when Othello marries his daughter in secret. The Duke of Venice. The official authority in Venice. The Duke has great respect for Othello as a public and military servant. The Duke of Venice's primary role in the play is to reconcile Othello and Brabantio. He sends Othello to Cyprus. Montano. Montano is the governor of Cyprus before Othello. We meet him in Act 2 as he recounts the status of war and awaits the Venetian ships. Roderigo, one of Brabantio's kinsmen. Roderigo acts as a messenger from Venice to Cyprus. In Act 4, he arrives in Venice with letters announcing that Othello has been replaced by Cassio as governor. Gratiano. He is brother of Brabantio. He accompanies Roderigo to Cyprus. In the final scene, he mentions that Desdemona's father has died. Then finally, we get the clown. The clown is Othello's servant. His appearance distorts the action and words of the main plots. Now we'll have a look at some of the main themes in Othello. When we look at the main themes, they could always be partially, if not fully, used in your literary essays. They are not in full detail, so if you need to use them in a literary essay, you would still need to expand. Remember your SIR technique, making a statement, linking it to something that happened in the play, as well as being able to link it to the question of the play, question asked. The first theme that we are looking at is love. In Othello, love is a force that overcomes large obstacles and is tripped up by small ones. It is eternal, yet derailable. In other words, it can come and it can also be derailed and broken. It provides Othello with intensity, but not direction, and gives Desdemona access to his heart, but not his mind. Types of love and what that means are different between different characters. Othello finds that love in marriage needs time to build trust, and his enemy works too quickly for him to take that time. The immediate attraction between the couple works on passion, and Desdemona builds on that passion a steadfast devotion whose speed and strength Othello cannot equal. Iago often falsely professes love in friendship for Roderigo and Cassio and betrays them both. For Iago, love is leverage. Desdemona's love in friendship for Cassio is real, but is misinterpreted by the jealous Othello as adulterous love. The true friendship was Emilia's for Desdemona, shown when she stood up witness for the honor of her dead mistress against Iago, her lying husband, and was killed for it. The next theme that we will look at is appearance and reality. What appears and what is real. Appearance and reality are important aspects in Othello. For Othello, seeing is believing, and proof of the truth is visual. In other words, what you see or seeing is believing. To prove something is to investigate it to the point where its true nature is revealed. Othello demands of Iago, "Willem, be sure thou prove my love a whore. Be sure of it. Give me the ocular proof." This saying is found in Act 3, Scene 3. What Iago gives him instead is imaginary pictures of Cassio and Desdemona to feed his jealousy. As Othello loses control of his mind, these pictures dominate his thoughts. He looks at Desdemona's whiteness and is swept up in the traditional symbolism of white for purity and black for evil. Whenever he is in doubt, that symbolism returns to haunt him, and despite his experience, he cannot help but believe it. Then jealousy, we touched on it last week with discussing the literary essay. Jealousy is what appears to destroy Othello. It is the emotion suggested to him by Iago in Act 3, Scene 3. Iago thinks he knows jealousy, having rehearsed it in his relationship with Emilia, to the extent that Emilia believes jealousy is part of the personality of men. But Iago's jealousy is a poor, weak thought compared to the storm of jealousy he stirs up in Othello. Iago has noticed Othello's tendency to insecurity and overreaction. But not even Iago imagined Othello would go as far into jealousy as he did. Jealousy forces Othello's mind so tightly on one idea, the idea that Desdemona has betrayed him with Cassio, that no other assurance or explanation can penetrate. Such an obsession eclipses Othello's reason, his common sense, and his respect for justice. Up to the moment he kills Desdemona, Othello's growing jealousy maddens him past the recall of reason. Upon seeing that she was innocent and that he killed her unjustly, Othello recovers. He can again see his life in proportion and grieve at the terrible thing he has done. Once again he speaks with calm rationality, judging and condemning, and finally executing himself. Prejudice. Iago's scheme would not have worked without the underlying atmosphere of racial prejudice in Venetian society, a prejudice of which both Desdemona and Othello are very aware. Shakespeare's Desdemona copes with prejudice by denying it access to her own life. Her relationship with Othello is one of love, and she is deliberately loyal only to her marriage. Othello, however, is not aware how deeply prejudice has penetrated in his own personality. This absorbed prejudice undermines him with thoughts akin to, I am not attractive. I am not worthy of Desdemona. It cannot be true that she really loves me. And if she loves me, then there must be something wrong with her. Remember us referring to Cassio as being this young, attractive man, and Othello feeling insignificant against him. These thoughts, inflamed by Iago's hints and lies, prevent Othello from discussing his concerns and fears directly with Desdemona, and so he acts on panicked assumption. In order to survive the combined onslaught of internalized prejudice and the directed venom of Iago, Othello would have had to be near perfect in strength and self-knowledge, and that is not fair demand for anyone. Those were the main themes. But I urge you to read Othello again, going through your own study guide notes, act for act, as they have been put out. But I have added a few extra links where you can get some more further information about Othello. Spark Notes, Snoop, Thought Co. There you will see they are all about themes in Othello. Grade Saver, Bachelor and Master, also themes in Othello. The more you read about the different themes, the more prepared you will be to be able to answer a literary essay in Othello. The next link, the following link, is excellent for studying Othello in detail. In this link, they actually refer to the acts separately, discussing the acts in detail. That again will be very advantageous for you when you have to answer the contextual questions. Remember, in your paper 2, you will be receiving for the June examination 1 contextual question counting 25 marks. You will be receiving 2 extracts from which you will have to answer short contextual questions, but the answers will not come directly out of those extracts. You need to know the entire Othello play to be able to answer the questions. Then you will also receive 1 literary essay to write, also counting 25 marks. At the end of the year, November examination, you will receive 1 contextual, 1 essay question on Othello, 1 contextual, 1 essay question on your novel, The Fault in Our Stars, then you will have a choice. You'd have to answer from one section the contextual question and from the other section the essay question. Then you may not answer both contextual questions or both essay questions. If you have any further questions, please enter them in the question box. I will get back to you on all your questions. As we said in the beginning, if you do not have the opportunity to post your question, or if it has not been answered, send an email to academics@impact.co.za. And remember to download the presentation once we have finished. And if you are not registered with Impact, you can contact us at info@impact.co.za. Once again, a reminder to download the handouts at the end before you log out. Thank you. Please go and read Othello again.